Hello babes, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video I wanted to talk about one of my favorite movies, and that is Get a Clue. But instead of talking about the film, we will be talking about the fashion. So let's get into it. Welcome to Iconically Iconic. So I wanted to talk about the 2002 Disney Channel movie Get a Clue. Specifically the iconic characters Lexi Gold, played by Lindsay Lohan, and Jennifer, played by Brenda Song, and their fashion.
Grandchildren. I'm liking the Dalmatian look on Mrs. P.
Baby, the girls were dressing down. I wasn't even all that into the storyline that much, but what I did come back for was the fashion. I'd watch this movie over and over again just to see the looks. And I also loved Lindsay and Brenda, so that was a plus. And Miss Lindsay was coming to collect all of the Disney checks. Now let's get into who put together these iconic looks. And that is Jolie Andreatta, who was the costume designer for this film. And she really deserves her credit and acknowledgement. People often forget about the costume designer and just focus on the actor wearing the clothes, but I wanted to discuss how she played a major part in shaping the fashion. So I wanted to give her credit. She also was the costume designer for all 8 seasons of the TV series Suits. She did such a phenomenal job styling the cast. Not just Lindsay and Brenda, but even the background actors. Her eye was incredible. And I always have to shout out the costume designers for films and movies because they bring everything to life. Costume design is not just about putting cute clothes on people, it's about storytelling. You're translating the script to screen, and that takes real skill that some people just don't understand or look at as frivolous because to them it's just clothing. But you have to think about lighting, fit, how pieces move on camera, how they reflect the character's personality, and everything else. A look might be gorgeous in person but fall completely flat on film and just doesn't translate. But in Get a Clue, nothing fell flat. Every detail was thought through, from the accessories and the hair to how the girls' individual styles were expressed. Lexi and Jennifer were both fashion girls who loved all the things, but their approaches were also different. Lexi had this very curated, put together glam girl vibe, while Jennifer was the bold and playful and more of the maximalist. But both girls share that similarity in loving bold colors, printed pants, fun accessories, and both of their styles felt intentional. It wasn't just about trends, it was about who these girls were when it came to their identity and self-expression. And what I really loved was seeing a redhead be the fashion icon. Redheads are often made the quirky best friend or the cute girl next door, but Lexi was that girl. Her fashion moments were everything, and styling a redhead takes thought because you have to be careful with color. You don't want anything that clashes or washes them out, and they nailed that. In the opening scene, Lexi wears this pale baby blue scrunched blouse that I believe is a Dior top, but I'm not really sure, which we called going out tops. That would be more dressy with a casual shirt underneath. And she wore a pair of colorful printed Dolce & Gabbana pants, which were on trend in the early 2000s. Multicolored printed pants and printed pants in general, whether it was animal print, paisley, or flowers, you were bound to find a pair of pants with all of the colors and different designs. Whether you were shopping at the high-end stores or just shopping as a young girl at that time, the stores were filled with color and print. And then there's that deep pinkish purple leather jacket that just pulls the whole look together. And let me just say, I love when a jacket completes an outfit, But what I really appreciated is that even when she takes it off, the outfit still stands and looks good. Sometimes your jacket is what brings the whole look in, and when you take it off, it feels incomplete. But not with this look. The baby blue doesn't wash her out, and it complements the pants instead of competing. They knew what they wanted to pop, and that balance is definitely key. And then there's the iconic pink look. The cherry Dolce & Gabbana pants, the Poochie shirt, the pink fur. That outfit was golden, and nobody will ever convince me otherwise. It is still iconic to this day. Emilio Pucci was huge and seen on almost every celebrity. Their signature pattern and colors was the first thing you noticed when someone would pop up wearing the iconic designer. A brand I've always loved because it always gave me 60s, 70s retro vibes, and I loved how much color they used. And then she wore the on-trend classic Chloe shades with the love heart. They just added to that fabulosity, and all of us had a pair or wanted a pair because of that iconic rhinestone love heart. And again, the magenta pink was the perfect tone for Lindsay. It didn't clash with her red hair or wash her out. Same with the red shirt she wears. It complements her, it doesn't compete. It's so important when styling people to pay attention to their tones, hair color, complexion, all of it, because those things make a person stand out either in a good way or a bad way. You should always wear colors that flatter you, not colors that make you look dull. And with this look, that is exactly what happened. It made her stand out in a good way, and everything came together beautifully. And right across from her in the next scene, we've got Jennifer wearing a similar color palette, but styled completely different, which was very 2000s. Calling up your best friend on the phone and planning your outfits together, matching each other with the color scheme, but still expressing your own personality. Jennifer's look showcased just that. She loves experimenting with clothes and hair, bright pieces, different hairstyles throughout the film, pink streaks, flipped up ends, 2 ponytails. Her choices were bold and very fun. And let's get to the first scene with her and Lexi. She wears this striped sweater dress with little tassel balls at the hem, and the way she accessorized it, absolutely. Give me all the things. The giant flower choker that she wore gave very much Carrie Bradshaw. I just know Carrie would have loved this look so much. I actually think Carrie would have loved every look in this movie because she was just as expressive with her fashion. The choker was a statement, but it was perfectly balanced. It wasn't too much, it was just enough. She also had on a red fur bucket hat, and with all the colors in the dress, you can really pull from anywhere for your accessories because there are so many colors. She could have done a baby blue hat, she could have done an orange hat, but I feel like the red hat was the best choice because it was bold and it brought the dress out more. That's what ties the look together. It was extra, but it wasn't chaotic and all over the place. It made sense. It was just perfect. And don't even get me started on the third look in this movie when her and Lindsay come together in the all black. Jennifer's look, her purple and pink, the wrist and at the collar. Oh, this dress, I still need this. I don't know if it was a dress or a 2-piece, but whatever it was a good piece. And then later on, she wears this intricate pair of pants with a design that looks like butterflies and paisley blended together. I think they were Dolce & Gabbana too, or at least something heavily inspired from their early 2000s collection. I'm not really sure. And again, she's wearing the clothes. The clothes aren't wearing her. She pairs them with a sleeveless pink top with a lipstick print and throws an orange jacket on top. And you'd think that would be doing too much, but it's not. It adds fun and it adds a playfulness to it. This entire movie is just a visual treat. These girls were wearing Pucci, Dolce & Gabbana, vintage Dior, real fashion. And the best part was it wasn't just about luxury, it was about creating fantasy and aspiration for young viewers. Back then, Disney was one of one, okay? They didn't have much competition, it was just the golden era. They were creating shows and movies that didn't just entertain us but also influenced us. And even when you watch these movies and shows back, you can still get inspiration from them. They shaped how we saw style, how we played dress up, how we approached self-expression. Lexi's wardrobe was proof of that. She wasn't wearing outfits that wore her out. She wore them with confidence. She stood out without drowning in fabric or trying too hard, and that's the biggest key: confidence. When you're experimenting with your style, you don't need to hide behind the clothes or shrink yourself. Sometimes it's not even about what you're wearing, most of the time it's about how you're wearing it. The opening scene alone told us everything we needed to know when it came to fashion in this movie. And that was that these girls are here to serve looks. They're stylish, confident, and living in a world where fashion is a part of their identity. Styling and colors, that was a big shift that started happening in the early 2000s, especially in teen TV and film. So let's talk about that shift for a second. Late 90s fashion had a lot of minimalism, so think neutral palettes, creams, earth tones, clean lines, simple silhouettes. DKNY, Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren, BCBG, they all had this on lock. There was color slowly coming back into the forefront, but by the time the 2000s hit, things flipped completely. Shirts with rhinestones and graphics on them with all kind of colors, tie-dyed shirts and pants, the checkered denim pants that almost every girl had a pair of, chain belts, and again, rhinestones everywhere. Whether as a face sticker in your hair or on your clothes, rhinestones were pretty much on everything. Then there were the colors. Suddenly it was all about color. Bright pinks, blues, metallics, rhinestones, as I've stated before, hyper feminine, hyper expressive, a little over the top, but we loved every bit of it. But it wasn't just a trend, it was a reaction. The early 2000s were also the height of girl power pop culture. You had films like Clueless and Legally Blonde laying the groundwork in the late 90s, and then TV picked up on it with shows like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, Totally Spies, and of course Get a Clue and The Cheetah Girls. This was the era of girls being allowed to take up space visually. The fashion was loud because the girls were confident, and especially in children's and teen media. It gave young viewers permission and confidence to play, explore, and express themselves without apology. So when we look at Get a Clue, it's not just a cute Disney Channel movie, it was a cultural moment like the other movies on Disney Channel at the time. The fashion wasn't just stylish, it was empowering. It also told us that being bold, being colorful, and being girly wasn't something that we had to tone down. It was something to celebrate. And if you think back to that era, there were so many clothes that said girl power across the front. Characters were saying it, wearing it. It was in the music and in the media heavy. They wanted to empower young girls, and costume design played a major role in that, which is why when a book gets adapted into a movie and outfits don't match the setting or the vibe, fans are disappointed. Wardrobe is a part of world building. It tells you who these characters are before they even open their mouths, and it plays into keeping your attention as the viewer. With Get a Clue, they knew exactly what they were doing. They gave us fun, freedom, and fashion, and they reminded us that expressing yourself through style is something worth celebrating. The girls didn't dim down their fashion because they were going about serious business, and they still remained fashion forward. And I think that's something that needs to be stated as well, because sometimes people say, oh, you're a lawyer, you should dress this way. You're a doctor, you should dress this way. You can be a lawyer or a doctor and still be fashionable. Always experiment, because I feel like when you get older, you tend to think, oh, I can't do that anymore. I can't wear that anymore. No. experiment, wear colors, patterns, do all the things. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. And I will catch you guys in the next one.